Hello, and welcome back to the video lecture series for Introduction to the Art of Programming Using Scala. This is the last video for Chapter 2. In this video we're going to look at how we can actually use Scala in the command line. So far we've been basically looking at general command line arguments and the commands that we can give. Now we want to look at things that are specific to Scala. And so that's going to lead us into Chapter 3 where we'll actually start to program. So let's go ahead and let's open a terminal, go into our main directory. We can look at the files that we have there, things that were there since the last video. So in order to run to use Scala, the command that we'll use most of the time is just the command Scala. This has been installed here. This is not a standard Linux command or anything like that. This is a program that you have to install if you have your own setup, and it has been installed on the virtual machine. Now if you just run Scala and you don't give it any arguments, it will drop you into what is called the read, evaluate, print loop, or the REPL. So read, evaluate, print loop, REPL, which looks like this, and you can see it tells you here that you can type in :help to get various options for help. We're going to use the :quit to exit out. In the next chapter we'll start typing in some commands here, and using this you get to type in one command at a time and actually have it print back out the result of expressions or to execute statements. We'll go into the details of what that means in the next chapter. A second way to run this is to use Scala to run a script. Now in order to run a script we have to have a script file. So we're going to use VI and create a file called helloworld.scala. It's somewhat of a tradition to make your first program be hello world, and so I'm not going to break with tradition here. So I'm going to edit this file called helloworld.scala. It's a new file. We don't have it yet. I go into the insert mode. Remember in VI you start off in command mode and you have to hit either an I, A, or a capital R. The I or the A could be lowercase or capital depending upon where you want to go. And now we need to type in a valid Scala command. Now we haven't really looked at any Scala commands yet, so I am just going to type one in without significant explanation. Hopefully you can look at this and read what it says. Print line has some parentheses here. We will talk about the significance of that. And inside of the parentheses is the thing that it's supposed to print. There's a set of quotes, of double quotes around these, and this says hello world. So there's some punctuation in here, which is, I would say it's specific to Scala, though it turns out this punctuation is shared between among many different programming languages. But that's our first Scala program, that one line there. And as you can probably guess by reading it, it's going to print out hello world. So if I say that I want to right quit that, we can now look, and indeed there is a hello world.scala. It's a small file. But now I can run Scala on that file, and what it actually goes through and does some work, takes that file, processes it in various ways, and then runs the result, and you can see here it prints out hello world. Now the details of what it did, something we don't really have to go into that much, but it's related to the third way that you can run Scala, and this is something that we don't see until the second half of the book. For the first half of the book we are going to be interacting with Scala either through the REPL or by running things as scripts. those are good for small programs, and since we're starting off, we're going to start off with small programs. It's one of the reasons why Scala is good for teaching this introductory stuff, is that our Hello World looked just like that. Okay, there wasn't much to it. The scripting environment gives us the ability to write really small programs without having a lot of extra stuff in there, what's referred to as boilerplate code. However, it doesn't work when things start to get bigger and bigger. And so as your programs get bigger, you go to a different mode of using it. And there you also wind up invoking another command called Scala See. And what Scala See does is it takes the program, the file that you give it. Now, in this case, this one won't work. This is not a valid, and in fact, if I try it, I should get error messages spit out at me. Yeah. So the C here says that this is the Scala compiler. So the Scala compiler is supposed to take a properly formatted Scala class or object or trait. Those are terms that don't necessarily make sense to you now, and we won't worry about them really until the second half of the book. But this would take it and convert it from a text file like this into a compiled format called bytecode. And then you could run that bytecode by telling it what file it was you wanted to run. Notice that there's no .scala here. That would tell it, I'm not running this as a script, I am running this as an application. And so the three ways of using Scala really are as the read, evaluate, print loop, the REPL, running scripts, which are just running straight text files, or doing a compile and then running it as an application. And over the course of the book, we will see all of these, but we're going to start off with the first two, and we will come back and visit those in later videos. And so our next video, we'll move on to chapter 3, and we will start actually typing in some Scala and beginning our real steps into programming.